big game this weekend in Camogie. They take over the entire GA narrative, hopefully. But I'd say Chloe Morey is with us. Chloe, good morning to you. How are you?
Hey lads, how's it going?
Good, thanks. One of the things about the microwave season is that everything gets a bit telescoped. As a Camogie player slash fan slash supporter, how do you feel the season has been covered in somewhat of the shadow of the big games that have been coming thick and fast?
Yeah, to be honest, I'd say the whole season's probably taken over with our, the GPA and kind of our protests throughout the championship, but it is quite condensed. I suppose I'm speaking as a club player as well. There are plenty of girls who are only itching for matches as well, and I think from that point of view, we start our club championship now in the next week, so our junior players are actually in the first match of the day on Sunday. So I'm looking at it from a club point of view and a county point of view, and there's girls going for about 10 months at a time. It's just a constant, and it's the same with all inter-county players. In terms of the media coverage and stuff, like I said, it's probably unfortunately this year been overshadowed by the protest, but what can I say? I think we're in store for a really good match on Sunday, or 3 matches even on Sunday. It is hard for any journalist probably to cover the matches as they're coming between the hurling, the football and the Camogie. But look, we get on with it, and we're looking forward to great finals on Sunday.
We'll talk more maybe as the conversation goes on about the rest of the season. So let's preview the final. And the Waterford story is really remarkable, where they've come from in the last couple of years. You would have come up against them. Have you sensed this has been brewing over the last 5 years, or has it largely come out of nowhere?
No, it probably has. I mean, Waterford have been on the up for the last number of years. Myself as a Clare woman, and I playing with them, along them, beside them, against them. Probably annoying for me. I'm quite jealous because we would have thought we were on the same trajectory as them. But to be fair, they've put in an amount of work. They have some superb players, and I think everybody except anybody in Cork is going for Waterford. They beat Cork the last time they played, 118 to 115. Cork definitely don't like that. So I think it's going to be a huge occasion for those in Waterford. I hope that occasion doesn't take over the Waterford players. They have some superb players, and they probably actually play very similar to Cork. It's going to be very much a running game on Sunday. You'll see it's very athletic, the players that they have, both Cork and Waterford. We played Waterford ourselves very early on in a challenge match this year, Clare, and it was feisty to say the least. But we have a habit in Clare of beating or playing people who get to the All-Ireland final and beating them. We did the same against Kilkenny last year, and they ended up winning it. So maybe that might be a good omen for Waterford, but it's class. They're going to have an amount of support. They're suggesting that it could be a record-breaking attendance for Camogie because of that Waterford support. So it's going to be a huge occasion. I think there's going to be a lot more people tuned into just to see how Waterford get on. Second time ever reaching a final. It's going to be brilliant.
They were intermediate as recently as 2015, so obviously a huge amount of work has gone in at underage level and proper coaching and structures and everything. But as you point out, that's great, but you need the good quality players. So for people who are tuning in on Sunday who maybe haven't seen that much of the season so far, who should we be looking out for?
Probably someone who's going to be, she'll probably get Player of the Year or nominated for at least. Beth Carton is immense. She has 3 All-Stars already. She's only, is she 24, 25? She'll be playing around centre forwards, but you'll see her all over the pitch. She tends to go back into the half-back line, pick it up, and she could score anywhere from probably midfield on. She's the free taker as well. Beth is superb. Very hard to mark. You think you have her, but you definitely don't. She can shoot from anywhere. So for Waterford, you have Beth Carton. You have probably someone who's incredibly underrated in terms of her work rate, Captain Lorraine Bray. There's going to be a really good duel there between herself and Saoirse McCarthy. I feel Saoirse McCarthy also probably a shoe-in for getting nominated for Player of the Year. She's an immense player for Cork. You have Niamh Rockett, as the name suggests. She's incredibly fast. It just so happens she'll also be excellent. She'll be on the wing probably for Waterford, but very hard to stop when she's running. So you've Lorraine Braid, Beth, Niamh Rockett. Their goalie Brianna is brilliant, can actually take long range frees, but superb on her puckouts as well. So those are probably key players for Waterford. On the Cork side, they have some bench to bring on. I mean, if you looked at the semi-final, they brought in Aisling Thompson, Laura Hayes, and they, like, class. They've beaten Kilkenny and Galway, who probably were their bogey team the last 2 seasons. I think they feel a bit hurt. They probably feel people haven't given them a chance all year, which is funny for Cork, but people kind of overlooked them, seeing as some of their senior players were out. Like Aisling was out with her knee, Laura with her ankle, but they've actually come and they're probably going to peak at the right time. So you have Laura, Tracy as well, centre back. That will be interesting with Beth. Is she going to follow Beth back into the half back line, or is she going to sit? But like, it's funny with Cork, any of the 8 players that are in the middle of the field could probably play between the half back line, half forward line midfield. Like, that goes for Chloe Sigerson, that goes for Saoirse McCarthy, Laura Hayes. It'll almost be like a possession game on Sunday. There won't be any positions if you're looking at it, because both teams play such a running game. They almost do 1-2. They'll pop and run. But I feel that there might be a little bit more space in the Cork full back line. I think sometimes they're there for the taking. And I say that as I sit here now and I'll be watching the game from my seat. But I think they're going to have to figure out a way to stop Beth and especially Niamh Rockett, Abby as well, in the full forward line for Waterford. But like, look, same goes for Waterford to Cork. Like, they're going to have a huge space inside that Cork full forward line. You don't know whether they're going to run it or they're going to hit it in, and you have to figure out, are we going to push up on Cork or are we going to sit back? Because you're going to have people like Chloe Sigerson who can score from out the field. Beth will be doing the same for Waterford. It'll be an absolute battlefield in that middle third.
Chloe, is the Beth Carton situation a David Clifford situation? As in, if you nullify her, do you nullify Waterford's chances greatly? Like, just look at the semi-final. I think she had 20 possessions, 8 points for them from play. So is it a case that if you can keep her quiet, you can really damage Waterford's chances?
You probably could, I suppose. Look, she's such a huge player, she's such a leader. Beth is the type of person now, and if you were ever to talk to Beth, she'd be just laughing and joking, and she's kind of very unassuming, very quiet girl. But when she plays, like, she does her talking on the pitch, she's immense for Waterford. I think Waterford, while they do have that balance, I think, like, if you see your star player kind of, I suppose, as you say, be nullified, whether that be by Laura Tracy, Laura Hayes or Saoirse McCarthy, I assume one of them might pick her up. You're kind of thinking, it's up to someone else now to try, get those points that Beth normally would be. So Cork would probably look to man mark Beth. I assume she does run all over the place. I think it'd be silly not to try man mark Beth, but I do think Cork may have the people to do that. Now, if Aisling Thompson plays as well, Aisling tends to sweep up behind as well, so you could just have someone follow or shadow Beth, and whatever Beth tries to do, you can try read where she's going to hit it. Aisling Thompson tends to do that for the half back line if she does start.
Do you expect her to start?
I mean, if I had Aisling Thompson on my panel, I probably would, yeah. She's probably coming back just the right time. Now, imagine bringing Aisling Thompson on as well as a sub, and imagine having the depth in your panel to do that. I think Cork probably have a stronger bench than Waterford. Like, they have some brilliant young guns, Cork, that that are kind of up and coming this year, like, that have really shown in the senior championship. So, like, it's probably a hard one for Matthew Toomey and his management. Do you play one of your best players, or do you want to try bring her on in case you need to settle? Because Aisling Thompson, that's what she does. She tends to settle and calm with the way she plays. She sweeps up ball. She's excellent at picking up people with delivery. So, I mean, I'd start her, but look, Cork are the master at tactics, so we'll see what happens.
You didn't use the word chippy, but there was a sense of that. It's okay, we can use it. You can for future battles with them, like that underdog status. Galway had beaten them 3 times already this year, twice in the National League and once in the round robin, and then they beat them in the semi-final. But whatever about Waterford being overawed by the occasion, there are ghosts for this Cork team to slay from last year, when last puck of the ball they lost the All-Ireland final. So psychologically you can see that swinging either way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, if you talk about Waterford being obviously newcomers to this stage and maybe having those nerves, Cork might feel like, I feel like the pressure's on Cork, because everybody just, whether rightly or wrongly, are just assuming Cork might go off and they could potentially wipe Waterford. Now, I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think if Waterford can keep calm and ride out any storm that Cork will bring, Cork come in waves, and if you can capitalise then on sometimes when they're trying to figure out what you're doing, which they do sometimes, that's where Waterford can capitalise. I think Cork do have maybe a little bit of pressure on them because they probably assume that, now they might think it in camp, but that they are favourites. They will have some, I suppose, from beating Kilkenny and Cork. They'll take that positively going into the final. But they haven't won since 2018, and down in Cork that's probably seen as a drought, so they'll feel like there's a little bit of pressure on them. Look, they're used to playing Croke Park though, and when you're in Croke Park, huge expansive field, if you're a newcomer to that, like Waterford, it almost takes your breath away for the first few minutes and you're trying to catch your breath, where those are things that, you know, Cork could capitalise on.
Is it encouraging from Waterford perspective, Chloe, in terms of dealing with the occasion, the semi-final performance in the desperate conditions, like they go 1-7 to 3 points down, I think it was, to Tipperary, which is difficult in those sort of conditions to be 7 points back, but then they come back and they find their rhythm, and even later on there's a lovely moment where Leisha Forrest, she's only 18 and she makes an unbelievable block from Caoimhe McCarthy to kind of almost secure the game and get them over the line by a single point. So do those little moments and that, I guess, comeback from Waterford in the semi-final hint at maybe being able to deal with this occasion?
Absolutely, I hope so. I really do hope so, because I actually think if Waterford stay, like, not even stay in it, but just keep toe-to-toe with Cork, and I really think they should go toe-to-toe with Cork, you're going to have I think anything could happen then. They're really resilient, they really are, and they're very physical. They with the knocks and the tackles that you get in those rucks, you know, it would almost twinge you from playing against them, and they are so athletic, especially coming out the back. They pop and pass. I think they're incredibly resilient. Like, they've already beaten Cork. They beat probably what a lot of people were considering Tipperary to go on to the final and potentially win it. This is probably Tips, one of their best teams in a while. They had most people available to them. Like, they beat them, and they beat them by a point as well. I think there's a huge resilience in Waterford, and I really hope they go toe-to-toe with Cork, and I just hope that the occasion doesn't overawe them, as you say, because I actually think if it comes down to the close and, you know, 10 minutes, that 16th person up in Croke Park stands, I think there'll be a huge Waterford support. I think that could help them greatly, and it's been mentioned by every team they've played, the support of Waterford Camogie that they bring with them. So I think if they can really go toe-to-toe with them, keep their heads, anything could happen on Sunday.
The good thing from Waterford's perspective is, even if they're getting blown out in the first half, they were getting blown out in the first half against Tipperary and they managed to come back. So, like, that, you know, you don't want to be 1-7 to 3 points down after 25 minutes like they were in the semi-final. But being able to claw your way out of that is a real sign of a team that has resilience and maybe had some nerves in the semi-final. And if you're the management, you're walking them through, okay, this is what's going to happen, this is how the anthem is going to be, it's going to be loud, it's going to be a completely different atmosphere from anything you've ever experienced in your life, but actually we've been through worse than this.
Absolutely, no, like, and I think you have to draw on those experiences, and certainly as a player, like, you know, listen, every team now has their sports psychologist, their management, and is literally drawing that confidence and instilling that in the players that you've probably been through worse. You've already done what you're supposed, in terms of, like, you've already beaten Cork, you've already beaten favourites to get here. Like, now you're on a stage where, you know, you have, which will suit Waterford as well, a big pitch, because they are a very athletic team, and I think people will see that if they watch the game on Sunday. It's kind of like for like Cork and Waterford, but they're incredibly resilient. As I said, as a Camogie supporter watching, I do hope they go toe to toe. I think they're a little bit more physical than Cork, so if they can keep with them, they might knock the wind out of their sails a little bit. And I think there's goals for the taking against Cork. Galway scored 2 in the semi-final. Cork didn't score any. So I think, and it's noted that Waterford can put away 1 or 2 themselves. So it's going to be good.
I feel like that's an important point as well, Chloe, on the goals, isn't it? Like, those couple of Siobhan McGrath goals in the semi-final, and I think the second one was Amy Lee obviously drops the ball, and kind of a messy goal to concede from a Cork perspective, but that's something that Waterford can really, really target, because, and you can target it. It's one of those things, isn't it, that sometimes people say, how can a team target goals? Of course they want to score a goal. If they get a chance, they'll take it. But Galway even got chances before that first Siobhan McGrath goal. They were getting in for different chances. So as you say, Cork certainly let up goal chances. Yeah,
look, as I said, I think the Cork full back line, I think they do need that cover from the half back line, but if the half back line have to push out with the half forward line for Waterford, which they will do, there'll be an awful lot of space there. They're very pacey inside. So yeah, look, there are definitely goals there for the taking for Waterford. Be great if there was a few goals on a Sunday night spectacle, but like it always comes down a lot of time with frees as well in Camogie, whether that's a good or a bad thing. Hopefully, please God, the referee lets it play on Sunday and lets it be the physical and athletic contest it's going to hopefully be. But I think that's a big point as well. Beth is superb on her frees, and Cork throughout the championship have been kind of going between free takers. Now they have loads of people that can take frees, but it's about finding that one person who's consistently able to take them. So that could be a big thing it comes down to as well, just the consistency of the free taking on Sunday. But look, hopefully the ref lets it play and we get a really good Camogie after Sunday.
It's obviously a triple header, as you said. So 5 o'clock in Croker is the senior final. You've got Meath and Derry at 2:45 in the intermediate, and the junior is 12:50 Clare against Tip. Does it bring back memories for you as well, Chloe? I know you were, if you go back to the 2008 All-Ireland Junior final, Clare Offaly, you're 15 years of age. Like, that must have been mental.
Yeah, I was gawking out my mouth at the stand, and I was taken off after 22 minutes because I was looking up to see where my dad was and my mother. But I was so thankful for the experience. It was 2008 since Clare got there. There were women there I played with that are like icons of Clare Camogie, and after winning that, I think it was Sean and I who got that last minute goal. I've never experienced anything like it. The support we got even when we came down to Clare. I can't remember, was I in my junior cert year or I think I was just going into the junior cert. So I was in St. James at the time. It was madness. It was brilliant. But look, I hope, like, we've been training, we've gone about new ways here in Clare. We're trying, the seniors and the juniors train together. I suppose we're trying to change the way things are done here. So I've played with all those girls this year, and honestly, there's some girls there, the stalwarts, that I really do hope they come out with a win on Sunday. We've such experience in the back, and we have girls, we've really pacey forwards. I was trying to follow them around throughout the year, but to no avail. They're excellent players, and I think there's definitely 3 or 4 that could have played for us this year, I suppose. And we have that conundrum here at the minute where you're almost robbing Paul to pay Peter, whatever that saying is, in terms of we could have had players for senior this year, but trying to make sure are we blooding them the right way. But look, it's come out trumps. They're in a final now. I hope they do it. They deserve it. There's a huge effort gone into getting these girls into the final. So I hope they do it against Tip. That'll be a good match as well. Tip are young themselves. They do have some experience, but I think, look, I can only go for a Clare win there. I wouldn't be a great pundit. But then Derry and Meath, that'll be an excellent game as well. It's been tit for tat with them. Derry, incredibly physical, as all Northern teams are. They are incredibly resilient as well. I think Meath, they've had probably a tougher run to the final. They're very athletic, excellent hurlers, actually, great stick women. And I'd probably tip maybe Meath for that one.
I was just looking it up there. The Waterford beat Kildare in 2015 in the intermediate final, and Beth Carton was playing. She must have been a similar age when you were winning the junior. When she won the Player of the Month award in April, it was almost exactly the same week that Kildare pulled out of the intermediate championship this year. So you can see that the difference between something that's being well run in a county and something that's not being well run in a county, the divergent paths. Like, there's no better example of 2 teams who were exactly on the same path. Now, granted, it was 2-9 to 1-5, so it was a fairly clear-cut win for Waterford in the day, to a team who are in an All-Ireland final, hopefully bringing a record crowd, versus a county that can't even field properly. And I think maybe that's at the heart of the integration and the charter, and like that's maybe the most clear-cut example for people who are wondering why was the championship played under protest this year. Well, it's stuff like that, presumably.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think it's very important to bring those issues to light, because sometimes we tend to sugarcoat things. I think with women's sport, like, oh, look, isn't it great? This is happening. We're going to get a record-breaking attendance, and all those things are excellent. And to be fair to both the ladies' Gaelic football, the Camogie, and the GA, this year they decided, at some point after protesting, they decided, look, it's going to be for the betterment of the game if we can meet and talk about this charter, and they did eventually, to be fair to them. So, I mean, there's an excellent thing, and as a player, for them to have listened to just our concerns about that is excellent. But we can't go without that fact that Kildare and Waterford were pretty much on the same level pegging, and as you said, putting efficient resources, I think that's important, efficiently putting resources into something. You can see it's come up amazingly well for Waterford, and unfortunately for those who play Camogie and Kildare, they're probably going to be watching Sunday going, is anybody looking at this? There's a huge issue here. There's been problems. We need to, as you say, integration, or there needs to be, and I think there is a proper review. I think Liam Sheedy's actually heading it up as well about what actually has happened and what are we going to do about it. But I think that's an important point to note for people who are maybe just about to get into Camogie or just watch them Sunday. You can't sugarcoat things all the time, and sometimes things have to be dealt with. And passing off responsibility all the time, and it's your fault, it's this person's, everybody has to come together. There's normally, whoever plays Camogie or into Camogie, there's solutions. Everyone wants a solution. Nobody's just giving out for the sake of giving out. That's what I'd always say. So if someone has an issue, we need to try to deal with it. I hope that review can have a look at Waterford and go, well, where have we gone wrong from here? And I think there's lots of other teams in that position as well. Lots of sugarcoating going on. So look, hopefully, we know integration is years away. I understand it, a huge process, but I think there's loads of little steps you can do. We have the one club model. There's loads of different things you can do. So look, hopefully, people,
But there is. It could be years away, or it could be really quick if everybody just decided they were going to make it really quick. That's the other side of this. That not to sugarcoat it, I think that's exactly what should happen anyway.
No, I was just being politically correct. If I could, I would love if it could happen as soon as possible. I mean, there's people saying this has to happen, that has to happen. Fine. I actually think the biggest problem is a mindset change between those traditionally maybe within who think Camogie should be itself and GA should be itself and ladies Gaelic football, we should all just worry about ourselves. There's a mindset there, it's a cultural mindset about, well, why are they getting that and how are they making this or what are they. Listen, I think
that's my field bull. That's what that is. That's my field bull. That's what it is. You can't have hot showers. I'm sorry, no. So then the under 16 boys won't have hot showers. You're like, come on. Yeah, no, there's a mindset change that needs to happen across all of sport. I think definitely in terms of GA, we're all the one family where everybody's working together to create something that is completely unique in the world. Isn't that enough? How do we all do that together? And that's it. There's no argument after that in my head anyway. Chloe, great stuff. We'll definitely come back to this. Thanks a million.
Thanks very much, lads.